Hi, my name is Yunus Nazarian and I'm a Juniper Networks JNCIE certified expert and instructor. These are my contact info right here, my website, my email address, my LinkedIn. Feel free to shoot me an email if you have any questions regarding Juniper Networks or anything that you think I might be able to help you with. This video is corresponding to this article on my website, which I have already published, is starting with Juniper SRX Firewall, a security gateway from scratch, part 1, basic configuration, posted by me on January 26, 2019. In this article, I'm going to teach how to implement the very first configuration on your Juniper SRX appliance. This is basically when you open the box, take out your Juniper appliance out of the box, and turn it on for the first time. It could also be a virtual Juniper appliance that you can install on a virtual platform for the first time. Please notice, attention please, that even though the content of this article is designed to be implemented on a Juniper SRX firewall, most of it applies to other Junos-based platforms. It could be a Junos router or a Junos switch, anything that is Junos-based actually. For SRX, you actually need to take a few more steps because everything is blocked by default. You cannot even ping or SSH your appliance by default. I have already explained everything in detail in my article, so I'm not going to do it again in this video. I'll try to keep this short, even though sometimes it's a bit tempting. I cannot stop myself not explaining more. The purpose of this video is to just summarize my article and quickly show you how to implement and verify the configuration, basically. For detailed information behind each command, please refer to my article. You can find a direct link to my article in the description on YouTube. This is what we are going to discuss. All these things: root, password, host name, management, IP management, protocols, DNS, date and time, NTP, control plane Syslog, data plane Syslog, SNMP, local users, and login, message, and TechX Plus radius. Okay, there's a typo here. I have to fix it. Before I do that, I need to install a Juniper virtual appliance. I need to find a file. Actually, I found a file already inside a TFTP boot folder, which is very weird. I don't know how this file ended up there. I have no idea. Why would I put it there? I'm going to show you how to install Juniper Virtual SRX appliance on a VMware Fusion. Since I'm using a Mac computer, it's VMware Fusion. If you're using a Windows, you need to install VMware Workstation, or if you are fancy enough to have your own server, you have to do it on a VMware ESXi or something. So I'm going to put it on fast motion, so it's not going to take more than a few seconds. Okay, let's begin. It was pretty fast, right? So before we jump into the configuration, let's look at the topology. Okay, the management cloud or network is right in the middle that connects all management ports of your devices. On the right hand side, I have Juniper SRX. On the left hand side, you'll see all servers that are providing some sort of service for the network, and this is me here. For this lab, I'm using Juniper SRX Virtual Appliance version 18.1. So let's begin the configuration. Okay, let's go to the list here. So the first thing you need to do is to set up the root password. This is mandatory on every Junos appliance. Well, I've seen some old Junos devices that you could actually commit the configuration without setting up the root password, but it's not the case anymore. We have to. We must. So root. This is how you log in, no password, because it's factory default. Operational mode, configuration mode. First, I'm going to delete everything off the device. This is a FromScratch guide after all. So system root user plaintext password ABC123 @ A capital ABC123 @. Perfect. This is the root user. The second thing we have to configure is hostname. Your new appliance is like a newborn baby. It needs a name, right? So let's give it a name. Set system hostname SRX. That's it. The next thing on our list is management IP. Management IP is the IP that you use for communicating with your device for management and monitoring purposes, right? So I'm going to set up this management IP on my dedicated management interface, which is called FXP 0.0 family INET address 192.168.100.200/24. If you don't have this interface on your appliance, the only option that you have is to utilize your normal standard gigabit Ethernet and fast Ethernet adapter. If you want to do that, you have to make that interface as a member of a security zone or a functional management zone. We will talk about zones, interfaces, and static routes in the next video and article. I will show you how to do it. Okay, perfect. Let's move on. The next step is management protocols. Management protocols are the ones that you use to manage your appliance. SSH, Telnet, HTTP, and HTTPS are the most common ones. Here I'm just going to configure SSH and HTTPS, which are both secure. Set system services, SSH, that's it. Set system services, web management. Let me turn the volume down a bit. It's a bit annoying. HTTPS, system generated certificate, because we don't have any other certificate. That's it. The next step is DNS. Your device most likely needs to resolve some names into their IP addresses at some point of its lifetime. It could be when your device trying to update its IPS database or its application database, or whenever you want to access to any server by its name instead of its IP address. It could be an NTP server or the TechX Plus server, Radius server. Okay, let's configure DNS. I have a local DNS server, so I will use that one, but you may set more than one DNS server for the sake of redundancy. Set system name server 192.168.100.202. That's my DNS server. Actually, let's just configure a secondary and tertiary DNS server for fun. Just a couple of internet DNS server. You just need to repeat the same command. Set system name server 88888 and let's just put 42222. That's it. Okay, perfect. The next piece of configuration is date and time. I don't even have to explain why is it necessary. Just keep in mind that if you want to configure the time zone, you have to configure it first and then commit the configuration before setting up the time and date. The time zone is reflecting the time at your geographical location and the offset or the difference between your time and a coordinated universal time. You are either behind or ahead of the UTC time. Let's just enter America, Los Angeles. Set system, time zone. If I just press question mark, you'll see a huge list, a long list of all countries and locations. So I just put America, Los Angeles. Then I have to commit the configuration and set up the time and the date. For setting up the time, you have to use this operational command, run set date. Let's just press question mark. Okay, here I can either enter the date and time manually according to this format: year, month, day, hour, minutes, and seconds, or retrieve the time directly from the NTP server, which is tend to be more accurate. I have a local NTP server, but there are tons of other NTP servers available online. So I'm just going to use my NTP server here, NTP And the NTP server IP addresses, I don't remember. Let me check. It's 192.168.100.201. 192.168.100.201. Okay, it works. It does not work. Let me check my NTP server and get back on this. Okay, something went wrong with my NTP server. I tried rebooting the service. Let's try again. The same command. Now it's working perfectly. Run show system uptime. Yeah, the time is perfect. The time source is local clock. To make sure date and time are always remaining accurate, you can also set up an NTP server, one NTP server or several NTP servers. So your Junos appliance will be talking to the NTP servers automatically and continuously to keep the date and time as precise as possible. Let's just do this. Set system NTP server 192.168.100.201, and that's it. The next step is to configure logging. We have control plane logging and data plane logging. Each Junos device has two planes, right? A control plane and data plane. When it comes to Syslog, they create their own logs and events. Please refer to my article. I have fully, well, not fully, but partially explained the difference between the two. So for a start, I'm going to under system syslog, which is control plane syslog, and then type this command, user star any emergency. What it does, it actually sends any events that has the level of emergency to any logged in users. Set host 192.168.100.204. That's my Syslog server. I want to set everything from any facility and any severity. Set file authentication. Authorization info. Set file authentication structured data, which is more structured. I want to store the information more structured. Set file, it's easier to read also. Audit, interactive commands, any. Set file audit, structured data. Set file processes, daemon info. Set file processes, structured data. Okay, perfect. Now I want to configure data plane logs, but I want to put it on event mode, which means the logs should be redirected to control plane. Set security, log mode, event. Set security, log event rate 1000. This is 1000 events per second, EPS, to protect my internal link which connects data plane and control plane. The next item on our list is SNMP. There are many ways to manage your appliance, but SNMP is not one of those ways. SNMP in Junos is mainly used for monitoring your appliance. Here I'm going to configure SNMP version 2C. First, I prefer to go under SNMP hierarchy and configure my SNMP. Set name, SRX. Set description, I can add description. SRX security gateway. Set location, let's just put rack 01. I don't have any rack here, just an example. Set view all OID 1. This actually helps me to create a filter for OIDs. I can exclude some OIDs so the NMS server will not be able to pull the OIDs that I have excluded. So you have some kind of a filter here. You can use it if you want. Basically dot one here means that I'm allowing NMS server to pull every possible OID. So everything is open. Set community. Junos @123 @view, and then I refer to the filter that I just created. The name is all. set community, authorization, read-only, set community, clients. By putting clients, I can restrict the access to this Junos appliance for monitoring purposes. I just want to put 192, 168, 100. Let's just put the whole range here. Now it's the time to configure SNMP traps or SNMP notification. Set community or SNMP push also. Set trap group. I have to create a trap group first. Let's just put SRX. Traps. Targets. My NTP server 192.168, 100.205. Again. And categories, configuration, and link top. The next piece of configuration is local users. Local users are all users other than default, predefined users. I'm going to configure only one user, but before that, we need to configure a login class. Login class is what you would call groups on a Microsoft platform. I have to define the level of access and a bunch of other configuration under the login class, and then make the users a member of that class. Then users inherit the configuration from their login class. As simple as that. So let's do this. It's better to go under system login to make the commands a bit shorter. Set class admins, idle timeout, let's just put 10 minutes. Login alarms, and permissions all. I want to create a login class or a group for admins. So I gave all the permissions possible, but I don't want them to have everything available for them. So I'm gonna put some limitations. I need to fine tune the access a bit. So I'm going to deny some configurations and some operational commands. Set class admins, deny commands, set CLI idle timeout, for example, or request system software, and request system 0 eyes. Request chassis. There is no autocomplete here. I have to type every single command, and you should avoid any typo or misspelling, because if you do, it doesn't work properly. And a start to prevent the admins group to start the shell. Again, this time I'm going to set some deny configuration. Limitation. I don't want that my admins group will be able to change the root password and also access to system login. So deny configuration, system, root, authentication, and system login. Perfect. Now I need to define the user. Set user, my name Yunus, my class is admins, and my authentication and my password will be Yunus123 @ Yunus with capital Y. Capital Y, OUNOS 123 @. Let's go to the top of the hierarchy. Then I need to define the login message. Set login, set system login message. I put actually a very fancy login message in my article, but here I'm just gonna keep it simple. Keep out unless you are authorized. And I use capital letters to make it more serious and dangerous, like I'm not kidding. Keep out. I'm gonna kick you. The next piece of the configuration is TACX Plus and Radius. If you are intending to centralize a process of authentication, authorization, and accounting, or AAA, you'll need to use one of these protocols to communicate with that central location, Radius or TACX Plus, which is usually a server with a AAA service. Linux FreeRadius or Cisco ACS or Cisco ISE are a few examples of such services. For this lab, I'm using FreeRadius on a Debian Linux. First, I need to configure the Radius server IP address and secret. It's very easy. Set system, Radius server, 192.168.100.203. The secret is Junos 123 @. That was easy. The next thing I should configure is the authentication order. Set system authentication order. Radius. It means that your appliance should refer to Radius first, and then if the Radius didn't respond or if the Radius rejected your authentication, I tell the system to refer to the local database. For that, I have to put password. And also one more possible option to put here is TAC Plus. But since I don't have a TACX Plus server, I'm not going to use it. Show system authentication order. As you see, it's Radius first and password. It matters that which one comes first. It tells you the order of the authentication. Then I need to create a login class and a template user. Edit system login again. I'm just going to copy the current login class and save it as another name. So class admins to class remote admins. Just like that. So we have the both here. Then I need to create a template user. Set user, remote admins, the same name. Class remote admins. But I'm not going to set any password for this user. This user is just a template user. You cannot log in using this user. It's just an attribute. For example, if you have two groups of users, administrators and admins and operators, and you have 20 users in total, and 5 of them are admins and the other 15 are operators. So you have to create two classes, two login classes, and 2 template users. So let's go to the top level hierarchy and let's commit the configuration and verify if whatever we configured does actually work. And this is what actually counts. Commit. So let's go to the list here. Okay, the first thing we have to check is root password. For that, I need to just log out and try to log in using the password. It is working. Perfect. The next thing is hostname. You can already see the result. Root at SRX, which is my hostname. Verify it. Management IP, I just need to ping it. I'm going to bring up the terminal here. Ping 192.168.100.200. Perfect. It is working. Management protocols. Well, it will be SSH and HTTPS. SSH root at 192.168.100.200. Okay, let me fix this. One moment. Yes, and the password. Okay, that is very normal. Even though I entered the correct password, it doesn't work because when you enable SSH on a Junos appliance, especially on the recent Junos versions, it does not let the root user to log in using SSH unless you deactivate that security measure. So I have to go back to my SRX and put set system services SSH root login allow. Commit the configuration. Okay, let's try again. Nice, it's working. You know what? I'm just going to minimize this and use this terminal. It's better and it's faster. And did you see the login message? This is the login message. Keep out unless you are authorized. Okay, so the next thing is DNS. Run ping google.com inet. I don't have internet, so I will not be able to ping google.com, but I should be able to resolve google.com into its IP address. It is working, as you can see. Let's try another domain. Microsoft.com. It's working. Let's just try juniper.net. It's working. Okay, perfect. So let's move on. The next thing is date and time. Run show system uptime. It is accurate and it's PST. That's the time zone. Let's check NTP. As you see already here, time source is NTP. So NTP is working and this time has been retrieved from NTP server. But there is another command to check that. Show NTP, show system ent. What was that? Show. Okay, I said show, but I didn't type it. Associations. So as you can see, there is a star next to the NTP server. It means that your appliance is using this NTP server. The next item is control plane syslog. I'm just going to check if the files have been created. Run show log audit. And you already have some information there, some events and some logs. Authentication. Yes. And processes. Nice. The other plane syslog, there is no way to check it because I don't have any traffic passing through the firewall. And the other plane is for traffic. Maybe in the next video and article. When I'm talking about policies and how to log policies, we can check the other plane syslog. The next one is SNMP. Well, for SNMP, I have a Linux here. I can just connect to the Linux and use SNMP walk to see if my SNMP is working, and I will be able to retrieve and pull OIDs from my appliance. So let's SSH to my Debian Linux root @192.168.100. What was the IP address of the NMS server? 205. 205. Yes. SNMP walk, and then I have to put version 2C, then community, Junos 123 @ I believe, right? Or Junos @ 123. Let me check. It was here. Show SNMP. Junos @ 123 @. So it's correct, and the IP address of the appliance 192.168.100 200. Okay. No. This is community, this is the address. Why is it not working? Okay, version 2C, I put 2V. As you can see, it's working perfectly. It's pulling and walking through all OIDs available. It's gonna take a long time, so I'm just going to cancel it. It's working. It's verified. Local users. Let's check. Log out. And try to log in using a local user, which is my user, Yunus. And the password for this user is capital A OUNOS 123 @. It is working. We have already verified login message. TechX and Radius, I have already configure radio server. I created the same user, Yunus, but with different password. The password is capital YOUNOS 123 without @ and enter. As you can see, I could enter into the system. So let's check if the limitation that they put there is working. I shouldn't be able to set the root password, set system, root authentication, it doesn't work. Set system login, it doesn't work. As you can see, I cannot even see it. And if I put show here, I cannot even see the root password and anything under system login hierarchy. Nice. Or I shouldn't be able to start shell. The start command is not even there. Perfect. It's verified completely. Thank you so much. I hope you found this video and article informative. And feel free to subscribe here. Under each article, I have this form. You can subscribe here, and I will make sure that you'll get an update if I publish any new article and video. And well, I put a full configuration here in both hierarchical format and set format. So thank you again, and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.